Hi everyone. This is Tushar Bangai, and thanks for giving your time for this session and spending 1 hour with me to understand running basics. I'll say I won't go much in detail because 1 hour is not that much enough for all the basics. So I'll just quickly talk about who am I and my profile overall. So basically, I'm a CEO, founder, and head coach of Sculpting is Strong Multisport, where I have been training a couple of athletes for triathlon, running, and other individual endurance sports. I have been spending my time in the field of sports science in the research for last 5 to 6 years. I have spent and worked with lots of international coaches, lots of international and national level athletes, as well as I worked with the recreational athletes. I have also been into the racing. I myself was an athlete, and I have been finishing a couple of events in the triathlon and biathlon and the podiums a couple of times. Swimming has been one of my favorites, and I have a couple of races over there. I won't go much about my profile. If you want to know more about just reach out to me over these are the two links which you can find out and read more about me. This is my website about section, and this is these are some of the resources that you can connect with me or find out about my work. There are some free resources over that, so you can go over it. Let's just quickly start our session. So what exactly is running for beginner? How you should actually be starting while getting into the running? Okay, so very first important thing that goes into this is your intent for running. Intent for your running is nothing but your why. Why you come to this sport is very much important, but unfortunately, it is very much neglected because most people think that running is the least expensive sport. It doesn't require that much investment. Everybody around me is running, and that is why I start running, because I am a bit overweight, or maybe I just want some stress out of my life. Yes, all these things matter, but what matters the most before all these things is your intent for running. So ideally, your intent for running is your why, and you should be knowing why you are starting or getting into that sport. You should be having a fair idea about your intent for running, which will help you to set right amount of goals and set you for the performance gains which you are going to be seeking for in this sport, and it will keep you motivated and focused while you're running. Now, one of the important thing is kind of a getting a motivation. Okay, so getting a motivation is actually a process. It is not like somebody coming and motivating you. It doesn't work that way. It works like you take an action and then you see some results and then you get a motivation out of it. Okay, that is called as an intrinsic motivation. Okay, it's just like you get that feeling from inner of yourself. Okay, and that is called as an intrinsic motivation. All those other kind of a motivation which your friend is motivating you, you are doing some couple of things and everything, you are getting watching some videos of some athletes and then getting motivation. All these kinds of things are external motivation, and these are for temporary. Okay, so that's about your intent for running. So ideally, you should be very much clear about your why, or basically your intent for running when you are coming sport. Now, another important aspect I will say is knowing your health status and your baseline fitness. So let me be very clear. So this was just this morning's case. I will just talk, I want to highlight here. I was just reading through my LinkedIn feed, and I just came across one of the research scientists post that the difference between being a thin and being a fit Okay, so this I want to highlight here because most people in and around us think that okay, this person is thin, then he might be healthy or he is fit. No, it doesn't work that way. Being a healthy, being a fit, and being a thin are very much different things. Okay, these are three different parts altogether. If we cannot talk about this much more, you can connect with you want to understand more on it, or you can actually follow my LinkedIn feed for that. But then knowing your health status is all about just understanding, going and doing some of the basic tests like a BMIs or maybe some basic health checkup that hospitals do, right? Like you do not have any heart conditions or you do not have any other disease conditions, right? So that is about your health status. And once you know that, you will be understanding that what should you set the goals. Okay, there might be some people who do not even know that they might have a cardiac condition and they start training, and that then gets messed up everything. Okay, and then suddenly there are heart attacks and everything. That's a lot of toll that you are putting on your body. So ideally, knowing your health status is very much important. Another thing, what I will say is the baseline fitness. So baseline fitness is nothing but when someone comes to sport, let's say an athlete who is training for a couple of years, when he is coming to sport, he is not a born athlete, right? He has worked towards that stage where he is currently standing at. Now, that stage he has started at some level. So at that some level, he might have performed some testing that we just talked about the health testing, like different. What I'll say, when you go to your hospitals, they perform different kind of a test for your cardiac, for your gut health, for your basically other things that are, I think, diseases like diabetes and everything. They do all this kind of testing and they do an extensive testing, give you a report. That is nothing but your health testing. But similar way, you have this testing in your fitness. So basically, this fitness consists of your flexibility, your mobility, your strength, your endurance, your basically running fitness. There are different kind of things. Okay, so these all things you should ideally be testing when you are starting. And the importance of doing this is because when you will start, you know where you currently stand. After that, at certain level, let's say after 6 months, you want to see where you are standing in your running career or basically in your sport. Then what you can do is you can repeat the same set of tests, or if you're working, your coach might recommend for another set of tests later. Then what will happen is ideally it will basically you can compare all this initial and your current. Okay, so basically before 6 months and later the 6 months that you have, and you understand where you are currently at, like if you have been progressing or if you have not even be progressing at all and just standing at the same level, or even if you are not progressing and you are regressing is nothing but a downward line, basically downgrading yourself. So basically all this kind of a thing that fitness baseline fitness will tell you. So that is the importance of having the health status and the baseline. Now going to the next slide, we have this is very important and very ignored topic in entire world of the sport. I have recently been working on some of the recreational athletes, and one of the coach who is from Singapore, and he's a World Triathlon Association member, and he has also worked with some of the Olympic level triathletes. So we have been discussing a couple of things, and we have figured out that this is a very common issue worldwide, that when people come to the sport, they might come to hobby or they might come as stress relief. There might be a number of reasons. Okay, But then whenever someone comes, they do not analyze their time requirements and the financial requirements that goes into this sport. Okay, depending on your goal, all these things are going to be changing. Your time requirement for the sport initially might only be 30 minutes or maybe 45 minutes or 1 hour. Okay, but then after that, if your goals are getting higher and higher and higher, your time requirement also goes higher. And apart from that, there is a financial requirement also. Most of us do kind of budgeting for our household things, or maybe even investment stuff. If you guys are doing like equity investments or debt investments, that are all the things that you plan as per your financial requirement, right? Like what you do exactly is you keep a certain amount for a monthly expenses, and whatever is the remaining amount that target to be investing in somewhere, that you put outside, and then slowly do that investment over the month. Okay, so that is how the financial requirement or financial investing works. Now, this financial requirement for the sport also counts to be the same. Like whatever you are investing in your equity or debt or basically financial investment, just put aside some amount that you think that this is the right amount that you might need to invest for this particular month for your sport. And then apart from that, do your rest of the funds, do investments and everything. But for your sport, also allocate some of the financial aspect, because I have seen what happens is somebody wants to buy something, or they randomly spend, they do not even plan. But then if you are randomly spending, it might create a overburden, or it might create a stress for you in terms of finances. Okay, you might not have that. So if in case you have that financial aspect or financial readiness, that by the month you are actually just saving for something, and then you are targeting to invest in that sport, that will make you work like a that works like a wonder. The same case goes into time requirement as well. So the time requirement as well works in the same way, like we have just talked about the financial investment aspect. And I won't see that these are the requirements of the sport, but these are the investments for your sport. See, I always talk this sport kind of a thing as an investment for your lifetime. Even if you are an athlete who is a high performing, even you are an Olympic level athlete, even if you are an national level, district level, or international level athlete, or in comparison to that, even if you are an recreational athlete who is having a full-time job and then doing, okay, all of these guys have been investing their certain time. Okay, and you spend half an hour a day for your exercise. What is that? That is nothing but your investment towards your health. Okay, that is nothing but your investment towards your that sport. And that is why I call it as an investment, because this changes your mindset altogether to look at that sport. If you are just seeing that, okay, I just want to go ahead and spend 30 minutes on my running, that will not change your mindset towards that goal. And basically mindset keeps a very much good space in your sporting or basically fitness career. If you have the right mindset, you can progress towards certain things and think on your own rather than relying on someone else to give you some what I'll say is like decisions taken for you rather than you taking your own decision, because these decisions should only be taken by yourself, and you are the right person to take that because you understand your body well. So coming to your time requirement, basically that's the importance of the time requirement, that you should be knowing what time you can allocate, considering all other aspects of your lifestyle. Like you just consider your family time, your friends and family time all together. your work time, your travel time, if you need to be traveling to your work or somewhere. Right now, for some of you, that might not be the case because most of us have the leisure of working from home after COVID. So that gets neglected by some people there or gets there. But then, yeah, all these kind of things, just write on pen and paper what kind of a time that you spend on your day, and then see what time you have in hand to basically spend on your sport. Basically, based on that, set your goals accordingly and just take your positions on that sport. So setting those realistic goals will help you find that way towards progress. Okay. This is another important aspect. You might have seen, basically, whenever someone comes to running, what people do is like, okay, I have I have running apparel, and I have join some group. Okay, I will just go ahead and run. But then, do you think that is the right way to do that? Ideally, in the sports science terms, what I have researched about and what I have worked with some of the athletes, some of the high performing athletes, what differs in this approach, what I'm just talking about, and what differs in high performing athletes is they always work on the base, and technique is the first stage to your basic. Okay. So technique is nothing but you are doing the drills, doing right movement patterns, generating right movement patterns for your running, or basically in any kind of a sport. But basically, for this, it's just for running that you need to generate right movement patterns for your running. And your basically all this drills that goes into it, that what it does is it teaches your brain a certain movement. When you are going to repeat that certain movement in a correct way, that movement your brain learns over the period. Okay. And that gets fits into your brain, and then that movement gets depicted into your running automatically. You do not have to do anything. And that is the importance of doing the drills and the technique work. Technique work has a lot of other things as well. It requires a lot of observations. It requires a lot of self-awareness. It requires a lot of drills, doing a strength, a base kind of a strength and mobility work as well. So considering all this kind of a thing, it's like just working on your technique. So that is the importance of putting one foot in front of the other and just progressing towards the right direction. Now, I just want to highlight, if someone is not doing this thing, then what happens usually? Unfortunately, if you're not doing these things, then what is going to happen is your body is going to learn about the wrong movement patterns. Okay. And if you are not doing the drills, if you are not doing the right kind of movement patterning exercises, then what will happen is you just start from first day of your run, and then you just go on the road and just start running. Your body is not aware about the right movement patterns. It is keep on generating the wrong movement patterns with the natural strength that your body has, and everybody has a different kind of a strength actually. So what happens is it will use that kind of a muscle strength or muscle endurance, and if it doesn't have that kind of right kind of a movement pattern, then it will keep on generating the wrong movement. Working on your technique is like that important, because if your body is learning the wrong movement patterns, and then the wrong movement patterns are basically your body is trying to learn that movement patterns, and your brain gets spit out of the those wrong movement patterns. And if those movement patterns you are generating over the period, what happens is these movement patterns will consistently be repeating into your running automatically, and then that will create an hustle for you to basically It will create a lot of injuries for your body. It will create a lot of breaking for your body, and you are not going to progress towards in your sport. So that is the importance of being working on your tech. Let's go to the next one. Now, as we talked about including the supportive activities, as we just talked about including your flexibility, mobility, and your strength kind of activity. So these kind of activities are nothing but the supportive work for your running. Okay. So see, why I say the supportive activity here is like your main sport is your running. Okay. So all this kind of a thing that I'm talking about right now, flexibility, mobility, and strength are the supportive activity, because these are just the reason to keep you away from the injuries, or basically these are the things that will help you in progressing towards your sport. So these are not the primary things that you do in your running motion. Basically, your running motion gets depicted towards your running specific workouts and your running specific activity, or basically simply the running. And these kind of a supportive activities that you do are for just your progress and for injury free run. Okay. So that is the importance of maximizing the performance and seeing the risk of injuries for using the supportive activities. And that is why you need a holistic approach, which will include everything in your running pattern. Okay. So now coming to this point, I just want to highlight that how your running training plan should look like. It should always consist of the basics like the drills, the movement patterns, different exercises in terms of if you do not have any kind of background in terms of strength workouts, you need basic strength workout. Then you move on to sport specific workouts, and then there are advanced in kind of a strength workouts that goes into running. There are different types for that. You always have to have the mobility and flexibility workouts in your training session, and there are a couple of other things that goes into your running training plan. Basically, running training is nothing but just running, but running in the right. So basically, you just have to include all these things in your running training plan. So that was about the slide. Okay, next is this. I just basically just wanted to highlight here. See, not everybody is going to hire a coach, and I just want to emphasize the importance of hiring a coach. Being myself a coach, I do not want to promote anything out of here. I am primarily just wanted to give a message here that being myself as an athlete, I have worked with a lot of coaches. Being myself as a coach, I have worked with a lot of athletes. And the importance of hiring a coach is lot of different things that you need to consider about willing to take your running to the next level, or if you are not sure about what is the right approach for you to go about in your running, or basically starting your running training, then at that level you should be hiring about someone, a mentor or a coach, someone who understand the sports science. Okay, so that is the importance of hiring a coach, because they will be tracking and designing your training based on your personal fitness, based on your lifestyle aspects, and will give you the personalized advice on couple of small things that goes into the sport. Let's say now I just want to highlight if you are working with a coach, then you might be able to get the training plan, and getting the socialization aspect is the only one thing. But then working on the mindset is another aspect that coaches do work with. Apart from that, you also have some of the race day anxieties, some of the how to start in race, what should be the kind of challenges in your racing, how should you strategize your racing, that kind of a thing that you are needing a help with, then you might be able to consider that option to hiring a coach. And in terms of a beginner, suppose if you do not have right kind of a knowledge that what is the right approach, basically see, this is kind of educating yourself. If you are trying to educate yourself and if you are trying to help, getting the help out of that way, there is nothing wrong in hiring someone or working with someone. So that is the reason primarily to hire some coach. Okay, so I think that's all about your running training basics, and I just want to stop my session here, and I just want to stop my PPT here. I just want you guys to ask any questions that you have.
Firstly, our one audience asks, what is the qualities that an effective coach must have? That's my question.
Okay, effective coach. Okay, see, there are different coaches around the world. There is no basically kind of a qualities as such. There is no definition to it. What I will say is, I will tell you my thought process. When I was being an athlete, while I was seeking for some of the coaches, what I used to do is I try to interact with these guys initially over their social media, or maybe any of the content they are creating, or maybe even drop them a DM, personal message over their social media. Try to interact, understand their philosophy behind their training, and understand if your wavelength is meeting to that person. Okay, see, there is no coach is a bad, there is no coach is a good. It's just like the thing that what your wavelength, if your wavelength is matching with that person, and if that person has sound knowledge of that sports science field, then basically you can just go ahead and work with him or her. Ask the questions before joining. It should not happen like you are just okay, the person is programming, or basically person is just giving the information on the social media, and he's not able to answer your questions before you are joining with him or her. Then ideally I would not go with that person even if my wavelength matches with that person, because what happens is, see, this is an investment. I won't say that this is a big financial investment, I'll say, because being a coach myself, I understand that what are the things that goes into it, and these are the things that I will say. Just try to interact with the people, see what you feel that about what wavelength, if you are matching with that person. See if you can relate to the content that the person is creating. See if you are getting the value out of that content, if you are matching that content to your personal situation. Okay, all these kind of a things are one of the things. Then go to his website, go to her website, then read to what are maybe his educational credentials. Like on my website, I have created an about section, which is kind of an old thing, right? Right now, I do not have time to update that. But then, yeah, I have just baseline a kind of my educational certifications over there, what I have been going through, what is my racing background, what is my athletic background. And remember, do not ever relate that a good athlete is a good coach. No, it is not that way. Coach is a teacher. Coaching is an art. The athletes cannot be good coaches. Okay. And there are some exceptions to it. I'm not saying that there are no athletes that are good coaches, but then you see that athletes invest time in their racing career. Okay. Even if that are amateur athletes, they invest time in their racing career, or maybe if that is an amateur athlete that invest their time into full-time job. They do not have time like going and researching into the field, like the sports science experts or the coaches that they do or spend time in researching on this field. So it's like a coach might be a good athlete, and athlete might also be a good coach. Okay, but then it is your call. You should try to judge that, take the understanding. And what I will say is, even if at your career or your sport, it happens to be, you might have to take some decisions. You might have to take some decisions to move on with one coach, because it has happened personally with me. I have worked with a couple of coaches. When I started working with some people, I didn't have that kind of a feeling or whatever exactly I wanted to get from that person. Okay, but then these things are like, what I'll say is this: these things you cannot really know before working with that person. Okay, so even if that person is ready to answer your questions and everything, but there are a couple of things which will reveal when you start working with that person actually. So, and don't worry about it. I will say, even if moving on with the coaches and choosing the right coach is also a part of the process. And it not only happens with the recreational people, it also happens at the high performance levels with the Olympics, with the nationals, with the international athletes. So do not worry about all these things. Just try to match, find the right match for your situation. That's what my answer will be for this.
So another question is, can brisk walking replace running?
Can what replaces running?
Can brisk walking replace running?
Okay. Brisk walking. Okay. So see, brisk walking is certain kind of another exercise. Brisk walking cannot actually replace running. See, initially when I start working with someone who do not even have the exercise background or do not even have the background or basically any background in the running, I make them walk and brisk walk a lot. But then, there are stages: walk, brisk walk, jog, and then run. Okay, so these are the things. But then what I will say, brisk walk cannot replace running really, because your movement pattern changes in the running and your movement patterns are vastly different in walking. Okay, in running your leg motion has to be the circular one, and in walking it is not the way. Walking, there are different patterns that your leg tries to generate, and in running there are different biomechanical requirements of your body, so it cannot really replace that.
Anjali has asked, how do I know if body sculpting is right for me?
Okay, so body posture is correct for running. Is she asking that?
Yes.
There is no body posture which is right for running. Ideally, what I'll see, these are the things that you should be targeting to improve your body composition, not your body shape or body sculpting. Basically, body composition is nothing but how much amount of lean muscle you have, how much amount of body fat you have. There are different things. Okay, if you are working on a full-time job, you might not be able to gain at the optimal level of your body composition, but then that's okay. Okay, if you have a lean body, if you have been following all this kind of a process that I have just discussed about, and you have been following the basics, you have been working towards the right approach, then you should be good. Okay, I think there is one thing which I wanted to highlight is, I think this question is coming from, I just got what this question is actually coming from. She might be able to ask that that if there is a fat person or if there is a normal person who is holding somewhat body fat level, and if there is a lean person like kind of athlete, then who is the right person? Okay, I will say the athlete is kind of a right person, but I won't say that even the athletes have the right kind of a body composition. Okay, some athletes might not have that, some athletes might have that. It depends on the person, what is his approach, and definitely body fat you have to get to the optimal level. It's not the optimal level, but basically you should be trying to get rid of the body fat. Okay, and what I will say in this question, to be answering this question, one of the most important thing that I wanted to highlight here is just trust the process that you are working on. because that is the use thing. Most people target towards reducing the body fat in a certain way, or basically reducing the body fat or optimizing their body fat. But then in that process, see, body fat can be reduced using even the ketogenic diet or even the paleo diet or anything. But these diets or these nutrition approaches might not work for long term for athletes. Okay, I'm not saying these do not work for athletes, but they are only for the short term. Okay, because I have seen lots of international athletes racing on these kinds of approaches, and they are in itself effective for certain kind of a racing. But it's not like you can sustain that over your life entirely. Okay, you should be having a generic approach, which is a balanced approach towards it. So basically, it's just about trusting all those processes and just keep on working, and then that will give you the results of optimization and reducing the body fat and achieving the right kind of a body composition. But ideally, there is no kind of ideal body composition, which I will say. So I'm not sure if I am able to answer your question, whatever I understand, try to answer that.
Now the next question is from my other audience, is that how I improve on my past training in order to get faster.
I got the question. Yeah, to get the faster, there are a couple of aspects. I think there are a couple of things that we have discussed here. That working on your technique is the major thing to get the faster. And apart from that, doing the right kind of a flexibility, strength, and mobility kind of a thing are another supportive things that you might need to incorporate into your running routine. In terms of a running, I will say it depends on the athlete. What kind of a strength routine he wants to incorporate into his training, because if the athlete is at the beginner level, I will not definitely ask him to do any kind of explosive exercises, because he might not be able to do that. So initially, you might have to focus on basic full body movements, and then another thing, as you progress, you might get converted into running specific movements. Then it goes to the unilateral movements, and you go to explosive movements. There are different kind of a things that goes into your strength routine. That is a supportive thing. And another thing I wanted to emphasize here is doing running drills and a mobility drills is very much important, because that will keep you oiling your body by giving it a right movement, or what I'll say is right ability to move that joint. Okay, let's say I'll give you an example. There is a machine. That machine is having a joint. Okay, let's say not a machine. Let's say take an example of simple of our door. Our door has a hinges. If the door hinge is not being oiled for certain number of months or certain number of years, it keeps on maybe creating some noise, or it keeps on getting a rust, or it might not function as it has to, right? So it is a similar way that your body works. Your body is machine which is created by a God, which is a very good machine, but unfortunately we kind of a way like do not keep on oiling with that. Okay, so this oiling is nothing but you are basically keeping on doing all this mobility and flexibility movements, doing those running drills, because this will allow you to free up that joint and freely move that joint. Okay, this is kind of a supportive thing. Running drills. Now let's come to your actual running routine. Okay, your running routine might be able to consist of a lot of endurance work, like aerobic fitness work, your speed workouts, your hill workouts. There are different kinds of workouts that are into your running. Okay, it should not be the way that you are just doing some easy runs, or you are just going out and just doing the run. You have to mix and match your training plan with all of the different kinds of running workouts. Like You also have to incorporate some of the hill workouts or hill repeats. You also have to incorporate some of the sprinting work. You also have to incorporate some of the interval work. Basically, these are nothing but the intervals, and sprinting sessions are nothing but meant for your building up your speed. There are different kind of a speed bout workouts as well, which I won't be able to explain over this call as such. But then, yeah, there are different kinds of speed bouts of workouts which you need to incorporate. There might be, just to give an example, there is a pyramid workout, there is a interval. See, all this pyramid workout and everything is a substitute of interval training. Okay, so these are the subsets of your interval training, and then you just have to incorporate your speed training, your hill sessions, your aerobic running. But then keep this in mind: your easy sessions has to be easy, and your hard sessions has to be hard. Your moderate sessions has to be moderate. Most of the athletes that I worked with, I have seen that people always want to go hard, and they think that every session, if they are getting a PB, or there is getting a hard, or they are getting what I'll say is, if they are actually running with some partner, and if they are going ahead with them, okay, that might be somewhat at that joy at that moment, but it is not going to give you any gains in terms of a speed, because you are not focusing on keeping your easy sessions easy and your hard sessions hard. Because if you're not going to keep your easy sessions easy, you won't be able to go that hard in your hard session. That is one of the reasons which most of the athletes lack at. And it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of mindset tweaks to work on that. But then, yeah, these are the main things that you can follow to go ahead with your speed training to achieve the good speed with your running.
So my other audience asks, it's a very interesting question. Navratri is going on, so he asks that if he can go running in fasting.
Okay. Okay. He can run on fast. You're asking about. Okay. Okay. Ideally, I won't ask Buddy to do that. I'm not sure. Are there any religious constraints here to not eat you anything out of it? But as far as I understand, you at least can eat a fruit before going to workout. I think that's allowed in fasting. I'm not sure if that's not allowed in Navratri fasting. I'm not sure about that. But then I would say have some little thing. I would say keep it little, like have some fruit. I usually have to get in my coffee, black coffee, or maybe some milk coffee or something, and then have some fruit out of it. That's my usual before my activities or any kind of a sporting thing. I think that should be good. But never, I won't advise anyone to go on doing it fasting.
And very useful and informative session it was. I really enjoyed this session a lot. Thank you so much, sir, for your motivating words. You really motivate me with your inspired wordings, and really enjoyed this session.
Thanks, Swati. Thanks. So yeah, I think even I enjoyed interact people. Lots of different. Maybe these are the common questions for me to answer on daily basis. Because I usually answer this on daily basis. But then yeah, it's just like see, I always try to answer all the questions that my athletes even have, because if I'm not answering their questions, they will not learn. And I think that was the intention of this session that I did. Because coming from this background, it is a very basic session, I will say. It's not really advanced level session that I planned. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, I really thank you guys to spend this 1 hour on even a Saturday morning. That is a weekend. So yeah, looking forward for more sessions. Yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely.